Recording progress. Okay. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vachaline Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pushtatara Sataline Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, just saw Mother Jamavati, she's with us. I was with Niranjana Swami again today. We took Prashad, a lot of devotees. My Guru Maharaj arranged Prashadam at the Jagannath Temple in Rajpur. There's Badahari and Niranjana Swami and Shivaram Swami and a big gang of devotees. Very nice. All right, let's get into Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you so much. So nice.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
He looks well. Niranjana Swami looks well, looks very effulgent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because he wasn't well for some time, but now thanks.
Oh, yeah, he went for some health thing. Yeah, he was, yeah. Okay, now what am I doing? Yeah, share screen.
I wish we were there with all these devotees.
Yeah, I hope that one, yeah. Just telling, yeah, wonderful.
And to be
Yeah,
there
such a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Everything wonderful about Mayapur.
And
Okay.
Vrindavan.
Sorry?
And Vrindavan.
Yeah, Braj, Holy Dharms. All right, so we're on text 23. We did 20, 21, and 22 last week. And there's 30 verses in this chapter. So we're coming to the end. And now Krishna's speaking about those who have alpamadism, those who worship the demigods as being less intelligent. So Krishna speaks about this in the 7th chapter here, and also in the 9th chapter. So he's encouraging people in general just to focus their worship upon him, because the fruits are not temporary, and we're going to hear about that. All right. And it's quite, this purple's relatively medium. The next purple's very long. But let's see how we go. We might stop midway in the purple and discuss. Let's see how it goes. All right, so let's have someone read.
I can read this one.
Go ahead.
Only because I know
I know it. Antavatu paramtesham. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, text 23. Antavantu phalam tesham tadbhavati alphamedisam devan deva yoga yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Translation. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planet of demigods. But my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Purport. Some commentators on the Bhagavad Gita say that one who worships a demigod can reach the Supreme Lord, but here it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigod go to the different planetary systems where various demigods are situated, just as a worshipper of the sun achieves the sun, or a worshipper of demigod of the moon achieves the moon. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship a demigod like Indra, he can attend that particular god's planet. It is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, will reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is denied here, for it is clearly stated that the worshipper of demigod go to different planets in the material world, but the devotee of the Supreme Lord goes directly to the Supreme Planet of Personality of Godhead. Here the point may be raised that if the demigods are different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, then the same end should be achieved by worshipping them. However, worshippers of demigod are less intelligent because they don't know to what part of the body food must be supplied. Some of them are so foolish that they claim that there are many parts and many ways to supply food. This isn't very sanguine. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ears or eyes? They do not know that these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. and in their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate god and a competitor of the Supreme Lord. Not only are demigods parts of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Brahmanas are the heads of the Supreme Lord. The Kshatriyas are his arms, the Vaishyas are his waist, the Sudras are his legs, and all serve different functions. Regardless of the situation, if one knows that both the demigods and himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods reside. This is not the same destination the devotee reaches. The results achieved by the demigods' benedictions are perishable, because within this material world, the planets, the demigods, and their worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all results achieved by worshipping demigods are perishable, and therefore such worship is performed by the less intelligent living entity. Because the pure devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness in devotional service of the Supreme Lord achieves eternal blissful existence that is full of knowledge. His achievement and those of the common worshippers of the demigods are different. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon his pure devotees is unlimited.
Okay. So any immediate questions or comments? Srila Prabhupada is highlighting here in the purple, which is kind of a synopsis of quote unquote Hinduism, so to speak, that the idea for many is that God has manifested himself in different forms, which is true. He manifests as Vishnu tattva forms, which are non-different from him. But they misunderstand the demigods to be different expressions of God. And by worshipping any one of them, then you get the result of going, oh, I don't know, getting some type of moksha. Yeah, it's quite, and that's what's, this is the misconception that Prabhupada's highlighting here. So, for instance, you can worship Indra, you can worship whoever you like, and it's considered to be worshiping God. But no, they are gods, but they're gods with a small g and not the big G. Yeah, capital G is for Vishnu, Krishna, and small g is for demigods who are jivas. Yeah, and they are temporary. Well, their soul's eternal. Yeah, but their positions are temporary. So although everything that they give is coming from Krishna, yeah, everything is being supplied by Krishna. Ultimately, there's another verse that describes they're worshipping Krishna, but indirectly. There's a word that's used in Bhagavad Gita, I can't think of it now. They're worshipping Krishna in an indirect way. And so just a little synopsis of the misconception, which Krishna is, let's see, Krishna is pointing out here himself. Yeah. Alpa means less intelligent. Yeah.
It's because, isn't it because everything ultimately comes from Krishna? So the demigods would not give benedictions unless Krishna sanctions it.
Yeah, unless they're empowered to give by Krishna. Yeah, just like we cannot give a gift to anyone unless we obtain it by a karma, like Krishna. So yeah, you was just clarifying that point, yeah?
Yeah, I was thinking how everything comes from Krishna.
Yeah, everything comes from Krishna. All their position is given to them by Krishna. Their position is sustained by Krishna. Their power given to control. It's quite a powerful position. They're actually controlling the material worlds by the administrative power, but they're all dependent upon Krishna for that power. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekala Ishvara Krishna Adishabhya Britya, where Krishna describes Krishna is the supreme and he makes everyone dance. Everyone is dependent upon him. So the sun shines because the sun god does his duty because Krishna has given him that duty. Yeah. And the moon god, etc., etc., and Indra. So whenever we mention Indra, we always remember that sometimes he gets bewildered by his position. But point here is Krishna's pointing devotees towards an eternal place. Describe this. What is it? Describe the supreme planet. Yeah. Devotees go to me. Yanti mad bhakta, my devotee, yanti goes, mam api, goes to me. So yeah, here this is Krishna's comparing the destination of the demigod worshippers to that of his bhaktas. Yeah. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but they are temporary. So Krishna is encouraging us to have eyes on that place from which no one has ever returned. Yeah. Anyone who has gone to the spiritual world has never returned. Anything else we need to clarify here? I'm just looking. Yeah, I was reading the commentaries on this. It's described that Dhruva, for example, when he became the ruler, as we know, he contained Dhruva Loka. After he, when he, then he would worship demigods. Interesting. In the Bhagavad, it describes, but he would worship them, knowing them to be empowered by the Supreme Lord. So he was conscious that their power of eternity was coming from Vishnu, was coming from Krishna. Yeah, but he would worship because the general populace were being engaged in the Vedic marg, the Vedic path of worshipping devas. Yeah, Vanash, yeah, worshipping devas. So he would he would not override, or he would overlook these worshipping rituals. But he had full understanding of the position of the demigods in relationship to Vishnu. So for him, it was a great ecstasy. At the same time, he was engaging a common person who doesn't have attraction for hearing and chanting about Krishna and is not ready for Ananya Bhakti. Then for the general populace, they would engage in yagnas and give alms and give alms and offerings of oblations to the demigods. But because Dhruva was correctly situated in the understanding that they're representing Krishna, yeah. All right. Anything else from here? The next purple is quite large. So just before we go there.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
I have raised my hand.
Shiva Krini, sorry, I didn't see your hand. Please, yes, go ahead.
I want to, in the third paragraph, Srila Prabhupada giving the purport. Not only are the demigods parts of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord, Kshatriyas are his arms, Vaishya are his waist, Shudra are his legs, and all serve different functions. So I was just recently reading before Srila Prabhupada was leaving, he said he didn't have any desires, just he feel a bit regret because he didn't establish Varnashram. So I think this is for us and the future generations, for society to function like everything in functioning nicely, because demigods, they're kind of how I can say, representative of the Supreme Lord. But here Srila Prabhupada said, but ordinary living entities are also. So for
Yeah,
our
good point.
society to function nicely and progress, we need these Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, Shudras, like that.
Yes. Yeah, very good point. And it's an interesting topic in our ISKCON society because Prabhupada, sometimes he would change his mind, so to speak. He would change his presentation. And there's a history there. If you read in the early purports that Prabhupada wrote and lectures, he will not give much credence to Varnashram, saying it's pointless in the stage of Kali. You just chant Hare Krishna. But then as ISKCON became established and as it became self-evident that not everyone could follow a Brahminical lifestyle and devotees were falling down, then he saw the need for Krishna consciousness to spread in a big way, that Varnashram should be instituted. That's a whole interesting history. But thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, also we are ordinary living entities. We're not demigods. Sorry about that. So in that sense, the Brahmanas represent the head of the Lord, the Kshatriyas his arms, the Vaishyas his waist, Sudras his legs. Yeah, so that would be establishing Devi Varnashram, which everyone worships Vishnu, actually, giving respect to the demigods, like that. Yeah, thank you for that. But if it doesn't understand, yeah, please.
I was also thinking Krishna gives us a good, about this purport, Krishna gives a very good example when he's telling his parents not to worship Indra, you know.
Yeah, not just his parents, he's telling everyone in Braj.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic story which illustrates this, where Krishna is introducing Ananya Bhakti, just complete dependence upon him in the form of Govardhan. Yeah, that's a wonderful story that illustrates that very nicely. Yeah. Yeah, and actually I was just looking, just out of interest, I was looking how to worship Indra, if that came on the net. I didn't find anything which really kind of answered the question. But it's the fact that there are some, of course, there's temples of Kaliyama, a lot of, but there's no temples so much of, compared to Vishnu, there is Shiva temples, but there's not many temples of Indra. There's no temples of Brahma. The Brahma received the curse, isn't it? I forget the details of the story. But what I'm trying to make here is that, yeah, the demigods are not generally, at least Indra anyway, I saw. There's not many temples of Indra around. Anyway, it's a side point, I guess. All right. Anything else we want to fan out from here? Yeah, so just read this last part. Because the pure devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service of the Supreme Lord achieve eternal blissful existence that is full of knowledge. His achievements and those of the common worshipper are demigods are different. Yeah, so look at it from this perspective. Persons who worship demigods are alpa-medasa, less intelligent. Now the next verse describes, I was looking at commentary as well, describes that the next verse describes as those who have no intelligence. Okay, so 23 is those who have alpha intelligence, and these are who is here. Yeah, in addition to demigod worship, another class of men who surrender to him improperly are the impersonalists. So they consider to have no intelligence. Yeah. So Prabhupada is, as you can imagine, he's going to make this very clear to us about the impersonalist misconception. And this is a good verse to quote. It's a good verse to know if you know someone has some impersonal arguments, or you might meet someone who's convinced of the impersonal aspect of the Supreme in regards to Krishna. Anyway, let's just get into it. Let's have someone read 724.
Yeah, I can read.
Go ahead, Mother Lavanga.
Thank you. Text 24, sorry. Avyaktam vyaktim apanam manyante mam abudaya parambhavam ajananto amavyayam anuttamam. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons, and here the impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna in his personal form is here speaking before Arjuna, and still, due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. Yamunacharya, a great devotee of the Lord in the disciplic succession of Ramanujacharya, has written a very appropriate verse in this connection. He says, "My dear Lord, devotees like Vyasadeva and Narada know you to be the personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your characteristics, your form, and your activities, and one can thus understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, the demons, the non-devotees, cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you. However expert such non-devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and the Upanishads and other Vedic literatures, it is not possible for them to understand the personality of Godhead." Shruti 12.
Yeah, so let's have a quick look at what purple. Not so long, but let's just stop here. If there's any clarifications needed here. Fortunately, they are the four Vaishnava Sampradayas. Here, Prabhupada's referring to Ramanuja. Yeah. So the correct conception as the Lord being personal, is there, but very much you could say Shankaracharya's preaching was very powerful. So there is a wide misconception. But here we're getting this is a historical, this goes back many hundreds of years and been mentioned by Yamunuja Acharya. Yeah. So persons cannot understand Krishna, and that's addressed in the next verse. Why can't they understand Krishna? Yeah. All right. Okay, you can read on Mother Lavanga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that this personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by study of the Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can the personality of the Supreme be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only are the worshippers of the demigods less intelligent, but those non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculation on Vedic literature without any tinge of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent. And for them, it is not possible to understand God's personal nature. Persons who are under the impression that the absolute truth is impersonal are described as abudaya, which means those who do not know the ultimate feature of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that supreme realization begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to the localized supersoul. But the ultimate word in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. Modern impersonalists are still less intelligent, for they do not even follow their great predecessor, Sankaracharya, who has specifically stated that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Impersonalists, therefore, not knowing the supreme truth, think Krishna to be only the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 9:11. avajananti mam muda manusim tanam asritam. Only the fools regard me as an ordinary person.
Yeah,
The fact is,
yeah, one second. Prabhupada I was just reading today, actually, just before this in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya-lila. Prabhupada always quotes Shankaracharya here when he speaks about the impersonalists. Yeah, saying that Shankaracharya himself, the leader of the impersonalists, stated that Krishna is the supreme. Yeah, it's interesting. Now, Shankaracharya, if you read his works, which we shouldn't, but as you can probably guess, he doesn't exactly that's not his actual spoken conclusion. That's not his actually mission. Because he's an impersonalist and he preached impersonalism. But in his writings, he gives credit to Krishna being transcendental. Yeah. But so it's interesting. Prabhupada here puts as said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. And then there's prayers, I think, in the beginning of this Bhagavad Gita from Shankaracharya. You know those prayers where he's glorifying Bhagavad Gita. And as we know, that he made that statement revealing actually Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Mudamate, you fools, you just worship Govinda. So ultimately he's Shiva, as we know. But anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. I just read that when Prabhupada quotes Shankaracharya often, that they don't even follow him. And Shankaracharya is saying that Krishna is the supreme. But yeah. All right, anything else from this little paragraph? Yes, so only by this simple point for us, and we know it well, only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can the personality of the Supreme be known. Yeah, and that mercy is invoked through loving devotion. So it's not speculative. If you study the Vedas without a Vaishnava guru, you will come to a impersonal, you will come to the wrong conclusion. Yeah.
I was thinking also about Lord Chaitanya, how by his mercy, Mayavadi sannyasis, they're turned into Vaishnavas also.
Yeah. There was Pakasananda Saraswati Thakur and especially Sharvabhauma Bhattacharya. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not just, and I'm just reading in the Madhya-lila now at the moment, Lord Chaitanya is touring South India, now he's in Vrindavan, and he's converting Muslims, everyone he's converting to become worshippers of Krishna. Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya is very powerful, so he can convert such hardened impersonalists or even Mayavadis, yeah, staunch Mayavadis. That is the influence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But we might find it a bit difficult. Yeah, if we was to go and meet the head of the Shankaracharya Sampradaya and ask for a personal meeting and try and convince him to give up his impersonal understanding of God and join a Hare Krishna temple, we probably wouldn't get very far. But Lord Chaitanya, thank you for pointing it out. Lord Chaitanya, by his personal presence, and he converted Mayavadis to become worshippers of Krishna. Yeah, extraordinary. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to ask a question in
please.
connection with Ramanujacharya shloka before. In the purport, it is said that those who are in the modes of passion in ignorance cannot understand you. So Srila Prabhupada sometimes said that mode of goodness, it's like, how I can say, airport for the spiritual life. But also I find sometimes people who are in goodness, for them it's also very hard. And like Prahlad Maharaj said, mostly people in the cities, they're in passion and ignorance. but still Srila Prabhupada wants to preach in the cities. And I know it's not easy, but sometimes people, it's very hard when you are surrounded by the modes of passion, ignorance,
Yeah.
to be in goodness. It's very intense. I always pay my obeisances to devotees in central London, how in the middle of city, which is really passion and ignorance, but still people are interested in spiritual life. I don't know if there is any hope for people in passion and ignorance. I heard there are some Puranas who are in passion and ignorance. So people can progress gradually in the mode of goodness to understand Krishna.
Yeah, gradually. And gradually is the right word if they go along that path. But yeah, so we may live in cities, but at least our environment should be sattvic. Yeah, at least, okay, when we step outside the door, especially here in central, well, here, I'm in Mayapur, but when you're in central London, you just step outside the door, mode of passion, there it is, mode of ignorance right in your face. But inside the door is something different. Yeah, so at least in our personal environment, we try and create a sattvic, a place that is clean, a place that is, has pictures of Krishna, a sattvic environment. So that we can do. That we can do. No matter where we are, we can be in a mode of goodness. No doubt it's difficult because the influence of passion, it has its influence, no doubt. So we have to work harder at being sattvic in our personal space, you know. But yeah, it's a good point you mentioned. The first point you was mentioning that what was it? Yeah, those were yeah. You know. What was the first point you mentioned, Baba Shivagrini?
First point was about Mayavadi sannyasis and Lord Chaitanya. And this.
Yeah, I addressed that. Yeah, I mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so quite frankly, okay, they're studying Vedanta and they may lead quite regulated and strict lives, but because they do not understand Krishna, because they're in a mode of passion and ignorance. So they might be living in an ashram in what's it place in where everyone goes in the north of India,
Himalayas.
Yeah, maybe in a. But if they don't understand Krishna, they're obviously influenced by the modes of material nature, and specifically the lower modes. That's what's being said here by Yamunuja Acharya. Yeah. All right, let's read on now. Krishna Prabhupada continues to dismantle again the impersonalist stroke Mayavadi misconception. So this verse, look at this verse again. It's such a straightforward verse in pointing out, to unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Right? So very straightforward, Krishna's addressing this impersonalist philosophy, not in a vague way, but in a very straightforward way. They think I was impersonal and I'm the manifestation of Sutta Sattva, which he is in one sense. But they say he's the manifestation from Sattva. He's the personification of Sattva. Anyway, let's not get distracted. Let's continue reading. Mother, you'd like to continue reading? Who was reading? Mother Lavangala? Yeah. Time check.
Where was I?
The fact is that no one can,
The fact is that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotional service and without developing Krishna consciousness. The Bhagavatam 10.14.29 confirms this. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, you can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him by devotional service. When one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Rama, Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
then only can one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has a body made of this material nature and that all his activities, his form, and everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth.
All right, let's just pause there. So, yeah, Prabhupada here he's grouping them both together, the impersonalists and the Mayavadis, from another perspective. You can explain the difference between the two, but from Prabhupada's perspective, they're all Mayavadis. Yeah. Even if one is an impersonalist and is, Mayavad. Now, Mayavadis will generally disrespect any katha about Krishna. It's all part of Maya. The Krishna, it's all, his pastimes, all part of Maya. Yeah, they're Mayavadis, but here Krishna, Prabhupada's putting them both. The impersonalists are known as Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth. Right, so this is our basic, you could say this is how we understand Krishna. Yeah, by engaging in devotional service. So by engaging in, not service, but devotional service, yeah? With a sense of devotion. And that pleases Krishna, yeah? And then when we read, things become very clear. Like probably we underestimate, for us devotees here, for us it's quite clear. For you it's quite clear, isn't it? Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan, then everything is quite clear. Why is it clear? Because you've got Krishna's mercy. Yeah? Because you have Krishna's mercy, because you're engaged in chanting Hare Krishna, and you're engaged in devotional service. So often, we have questions when we're discussing about the Mayavad philosophy. Then the question comes up, well, how do they conclude that? Devotees are often confused. How can they possibly come to an impersonal conclusion about God when it seems so clear? Well, it seems so clear because Krishna's in your heart and he's making it clear for you. Yeah, it's quite straightforward. Yeah. Everything comes from Krishna. Janma diyasya. So, yeah, that's Krishna's grace. Any questions on that? And then I'm going on, but then to understand Krishna, it's like different levels. It's like different depths. It's like it's like an ocean, because Krishna is unlimited. His beauty is unlimited. His pastimes and the emotions, and it's all unlimited. So that's, we understand Krishna. We maybe theoretically, but we're making progress in understanding him factually. But it's not as if we will ever come to the point where we completely understand everything about Krishna. It's unlimited, But at least we understand who he is, and we don't have this impersonal misconception. Why? Because we've engaged in devotional service. Yeah? So let's not take it for granted. Yeah, very wonderful. Any other questions or points here?
Hare Krishna. You said that for us is clear because we got Krishna's mercy. Yeah. And I was just reading, it's very short. Srila Jiva Goswami said how to invoke Krishna's mercy. It's from Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. and he clearly said how we can get Krishna's mercy. He
Okay, we
said,
want to hear this. Great. Let's hear this from Jiva Goswami.
yeah, it's a Srila Jiva Goswami from Bhakti Sandarbha. He said, to love devotees of the Lord, to look after them, and to do something practical for them. 2, to be happy that we can serve Krishna. It is possible that we are doing service, but we are not happy. We're doing like, obligation.
Regimented
Mood,
service, yeah.
yeah, this mood of happiness that we are doing service is attracting Krishna's mercy. Number 3, to serve Krishna, to do something for him personally. 4, to be meek and humble, and to give up our propensity for duplicity. So, and Srila Jiva Goswami described duplicity as I'm doing something for Krishna, but I'm accepting something for myself. Number 5, to talk about Krishna. Number 6, to hear about Krishna. Number 7, to remember Krishna. In number 8, to put the holy name of Krishna in the center and all the time remember his holy name. And from these 8, he said first and last are the most important.
Oh, very nice. What was that number 1 again? Could you just say that again about devotees?
Number 1, to love devotees, to
Love
look
devotees.
after them, to look
To
after them.
look after them.
Yeah, and to do something for them practically.
Oh, nice. Just writing that down. Do
And
something.
this is the, Srila Jiva Goswami said, this is the first one and the most important one. Then
Nice.
all others are also, but I'm thinking we are hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Shravanam, Kirtanam. It's also important service. And for me, this Shravanam and Kirtanam are giving all other, how I can say, fructifying on all other services. Srila Prabhupada sometimes said, I'm good in Kirtana because I was good in Shravanam. So it is very important to hear with attention, without envy, and with full concentration. Not to hear just like that, something, something materialistic, lightly, without deep understanding and putting in our heart. So I recognize this with the ears. It's very important to hear with attention.
Yeah, to give Krishna Gita respect by giving it attention. Yeah, so very good points. I guess you could if it's easier for you to paste and copy, you could put it in the chat so we could have it there. But if you can't do that, it's okay. So how to please Krishna. We've got some very wonderful specific points there. How to please Krishna. Thank you for that. Love devotees, look after them, and do something practical. What was that pastime where Prabhupada, I think it was in Los Angeles, and one devotee, he was quite unique. He would, when Prabhupada was coming out for his morning walk, he would be there and he would go on his knees and something and offer all these prayers to Prabhupada. You're this, you're that, you're this, all the nice prayers, I guess. And he would do this every day. And then Prabhupada, one time he came out and the devotee went through the same thing again. Prabhupada said, why don't you do something practical? That's quite straightforward of him. Yeah, so pleasing Krishna. And then if we please Krishna, if he's pleased with us, that manifests as realization. Yeah, that's Krishna's mercy. When Krishna's pleased, we will feel it, we will recognize it, we will feel abundantly happy, and joyful. Means Krishna's pleased. All right, let's read on. Yeah, so look, okay, perhaps you can just finish reading this purport now, Mother Lavangalatika, and we'll comment after we finished.
The 20th verse clearly states, Kamas tais ter hirtajana, prabadyante nya devata. Those who are blinded by lusty desires can surrender unto the different demigods. It is accepted that besides the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are demigods who have their different planets, and the Lord also has a planet. As stated in the 23rd verse, Devan Deva Yujo Yanti Mad Bhakta Yanti Mam Api. The worshippers of the demigods go to the different planets of the demigods, and those who are devotees of Lord Krishna go to the Krishna Loka planet. Although this is clearly stated, the foolish impersonalists still maintain that the Lord is formless and that these forms are impositions. From the study of the Gita, does it appear that the demigods and their abodes are impersonal? Clearly, neither the demigods nor Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are impersonal. They are all persons. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has his own planet, and the demigods have theirs. Therefore, the monistic contention that ultimate truth is formless and that form is imposed, does not hold true. It is clearly stated here that it is not imposed. From the Bhagavad Gita, we can clearly understand that forms of the demigods and the form of the Supreme Lord are simultaneously existing, and that Lord Krishna is Satchidananda, eternal blissful knowledge. The Vedic literature confirms that the absolute truth is knowledge and blissful pleasure. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, Aranyaka Upanishad 3.9.28, and that he is the reservoir of unlimited auspicious qualities. Ananta Kalyana Gunatmako, so Vishnu Purana 6.584. And in the Gita, the Lord says that although he is Aja, unborn, he still appears. These are the facts that we should understand from the Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of the impersonalist monist is false as far as the statements of the Gita are concerned. It is clear herein that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality.
Okay, so there it is. Yeah, that's why one of the best things to do if you do know someone who is being convinced of the impersonal philosophy, you can it might be fruitless to try to engage in. It may well be, depends on the situation, to engage in discussion with them. But if you can encourage them to read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and let Prabhupada do the preaching, yeah. Prabhupada making it very clear, using quoting from different sastras and yeah, because there are some there are some commentaries on the Gita that are impersonal, believe it or not. Many of them give an impersonal commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. How they do that for us devotees is difficult to imagine, but they do it through word jugglery. Like we know the common one Prabhupada would often have issues with when it's said we should surrender to Krishna. It's not meant, this is Dr. Radha Krishna actually. Prabhupada would use his commentary on Bhagavad Gita in the early days before he completed his commentary. So he'd read his verses. And so Dr. Radha Krishna says it's not to Krishna you should surrender to, but the unborn within Krishna. Yeah. So, Hare Krishna, any comments or questions about this? It's quite clear for us. Krishna has form and personality, but not like our form and personality, okay? We know that it's eternal form and a pure, perfect personality. Right. Now, we've got time, I think. We can do 7:25. So now...
I just want to say one point.
Yeah.
Sorry, Murli, in connection with this shloka 24, that Srila Prabhupada said that devotees should regularly read Nectar of Devotion. So we can also get the glimpse of Krishna's personality, because in Nectar of Devotion, it is described Krishna's qualities, characteristics, his associate, everything. So with the years, I really understand it is very important for us as devotees also, because maybe we have sometimes tendency to think differently, but Srila Prabhupada said we should regularly read Nectar of Devotion. There is a description of all Krishna's qualities and activities and like that.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us of that. And we did read as a group here. We did read through the Nectar Devotion. That was very wonderful. Remember that we read we read the whole thing. Yeah, and Prabhupada gave it to us. Prabhupada gave us the Bhagavad Gita. He gave us the Srimad Bhagavatam. He gave us Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he gave us Nectar Devotion. And he specifically said that Nectar Devotion is for the devotees. It's specifically for the devotees. So yeah, it goes into wonderful detail about Krishna's wonderful personality and qualities. Yeah, thank you for reminding us of that. So text 25, so just leading into 25, if Krishna and his form, characteristics, abode, and worshippers are all eternal, why can't he be seen? Why can't impersonalists who are detached from matter and therefore also transcendentalists see him? So we mentioned that, but Krishna's going to make it clear here. So let's just let's see how we go. So someone like to read this one, 725.
I can read Prabhu if nobody wants to.
Please go ahead, Mother
Can we
Gayatri.
see Sanskrit, please?
Sorry?
Can we see Sanskrit, please?
Yes,
I'm
you
reading
can.
from it.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudoyam nabi janati loko mam ajam avyayam. Translation. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and inexhaustible. Purport. It may be argued that since Krishna was invisible to everyone when he was present on this earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupala spoke against Krishna's being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the supreme god. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man.
You okay? Did you? Hare Krishna.
Gone.
Are you still there? Something happened. All right, where did she get to? I guess you're coming, something's happened.
Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says,
Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as a reservoir of all pleasure. But to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. So that's a yoga maya. Okay.
Sorry, I disappeared.
You're back.
Yes. Where were we? Can I continue?
Yeah. Take it up on in the prayers of Kunti.
Okay. Sorry, internet broke down. In the
Okay.
prayers of Kunti, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.19, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. This Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Ishopanishad Mantra 15, in which the devotee prays. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapihitam mukham tattvam pushan apavrnu satya dharmaya drishtaye. O my Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by the Yogamaya. The Brahma Jyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchitananda Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge, is covered by the internal potency of the Brahma Jyoti, and the less intelligent impersonalist cannot see the Supreme on this account. Also, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.7, there is this prayer by Brahma. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You are always expanding your internal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn, but also avyaya, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energies are all inexhaustible. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So let's just a couple of minutes left. Any immediate questions here or comments? Something came to mind. I just forgot. Yeah, so Prabhupada here is mentioning even the Krishna's presence here. Some of them could not see him. And why? Because they could see him, but they couldn't see the same. For instance, Shishupal could see Krishna because he was blaspheming him, but he couldn't see the same Krishna that Yudhisthira Maharaj saw. He couldn't see the same Krishna that Arjuna saw. Yeah. Because of their devotion, Krishna's sweetness, and Krishna's ultimate position was revealed to the Pandavas. Yeah. So he doesn't choose to reveal himself to non-devotees and the common man. That's why we have such a thing called atheist. Anyone heard of atheist? Yeah, we know what atheist means. It means they cannot see. God has not revealed himself to them, and they're absolutely convinced that he doesn't exist. So why is Krishna going to reveal himself? Yeah, that's why some atheists are quite convinced about the atheism. And because God has not revealed himself to them. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, he's giving them the intelligence to come up with their atheistic arguments. Yeah. So, yeah, he's never manifest. It's another nice verse to learn. Naham Prakasha Shavasha Yoga Maya, covered by his Yoga Maya, Sambritaha. Yeah. The persons do not know him. Mutto, the foolish persons, the foolish and unintelligent. All right, let's pause there then for today. I've got to jump on a bike and get to my Guru Maharaj doing a reading. So we'll stop there and let's pick it up next Wednesday at 7:26. Let's have a look at the purples. All right, you probably won't finish the chapter. Right, let's next, and straight after this, I'm going to set up another invitation, which is correct. So I'll make sure you'll get that. Okay. So, Hare Krishna. All right. Thank you for your kind attention and look forward to next week's discussion. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai, Holy Baba ki
Hare
jai.
Ram, 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 Hare Hare.